What's up everybody, my name is Elliott, but you can call me the Motory Notary. And as you can see behind me, I have not one, but two Maserati Coupes behind me. One is the 2003 car Trek Maserati that you all know and love and you've seen on the channel for over a year now. And the other is a 2005 Maserati GranSport. But now the question is, which one of these two pretty similar cars is better? My high mileage, worn out, busted up Maserati, or this almost perfect final model year special edition model? Let's dig into this. Now, I know what a lot of you guys are thinking. Elliott, I thought you were going through something and that's why you were selling your German cars. Why in the world would you go out and buy another Maserati? And well, good eye, but I didn't buy it. I actually borrowed this from fellow local automotive YouTuber Tyler Hoover, who was kind enough to let me borrow it and do a video on it. And I think this is a great chance to get two pretty rare and obscure cars together and show you the differences between them and why the worn out one might be better. So let's first talk about what makes the GranSport special. Back in the early 2000s when Ferrari bought Maserati and revived the brand, they brought these cars back without names, really. They named the Coupe, and they named the Spider, the Spider. And then the only other designation there was what kind of transmission it had. So mine is a Coupe GT, which means it is a stick shift. The other version of that was the Coupe Cambio Corsa, which meant it had the F1 style single clutch automated transmission. Now this came later. This is the GranSport. And remember, it's Gran, G-R-A-N, not Grand Sport like we would say in America. This car is basically the end of the line final hurrah for the Coupe and the Spider before they moved on to the Gran Turismo and the Quattroporte and everything else that followed afterwards. So what makes it special is, well, like the Z06, they do extra stuff to it. This car has a different front fascia, a different grille, different side skirts that are really wide and cool actually, a different rear exhaust grille type setup, and a little bit of a revised interior. More than that though, the Ferrari-derived V8 has 5 more horsepower. I don't know how they managed to get 5 more out of it, but you know, some timing tweaks and what have you, they got more power. Usually when people have a special edition, they want something more out of it. The reason this is special though is because they made very few of this final year model, just like they made very few Coupe GTs. These two cars are exceptionally rare and not a lot of people even know about them. So let's walk through this absolutely perfect one and I'll show you some of the stuff that I think is pretty neat on it. All right, switching to handheld mode here now, but let's start off this thing with the most important part of every Maserati, its engine. It's something that both of these cars share, but they present drastically differently. Let me show you what I mean. All right, under here is that beautiful Ferrari-derived V8, and all of its engine covers are in place. This thing is just such a good looking engine bay, and it came before that time of hiding everything. But Maserati knew this is kind of the soul of the car and this is what people are gonna wanna see. And boy, did they do a good job of presenting it. My car has the same engine, remember, less 5 horsepower, but well, it just doesn't show as well. See, under here, you have the same engine, but without those covers, you see all of the unsightly bits around here. Not that it's that bad, but boy, did those engine covers make a big difference. Also on mine, you can see what color it is truly beneath the wrap. All in all, it's not too bad. I mean, this is the most important part of the car, but boy, doesn't that look great. It should be noted that this will be the beginning of the theme of mine has this, yours doesn't have that. I do have those engine covers. They are over there and they are cracked and they are horrendously expensive to replace. So I just kind of run this thing naked. But the other thing I want to get out of the way is something that bothers me on the Maserati forums is everybody just goes, oh, it's basically a Ferrari. It's basically a Ferrari because this is a Ferrari-derived V8. And yes, it is a Ferrari-derived V8, but the key difference here is the crankshaft. So Ferraris use a flat plane crank, which is why they make a little bit more horsepower, less torque, but they can rev a lot higher and why they sound a lot more high-pitched. These use a traditional cross-plane crank, which is why they sound more rumbly and American. And like, I get why people say, yeah, it's got a Ferrari engine, but it's okay. I think you should just own up to having a Maserati. Having a Maserati is still pretty darn cool. All right, now elephant in the room here on this car, these wheels. They're kind of a little much even for me, but they are very period correct. You can imagine somebody just balling out of control in 2004 and 2005. These would have been very, very hot, but I just don't think they match the sporty nature of the car. And this is me talking as a guy who doesn't have the correct wheels on his either, but something about these is racy and correct. These are, well, you know, pimp my ride style. Not my favorite, but it's literally the only thing that's not right on this car. You know, these bargain exotic cars are pretty neat, but you know what would be even neater? moving up in the world a little bit to a brand new six-figure supercar. And today, I'm proud to be working with Omaze to give you guys the chance to win a brand new 2022 McLaren GT and support a great cause, the Make-A-Wish Foundation. The McLaren GT is a new take on the supercar. It's got all of the exotic car performance and looks, but with the comfort of a Grand Tourer. It's got everything I like in a car: a 612 horsepower twin-turbo V8, a fast-shifting dual-clutch transmission, cool doors that open up instead of out, and the most important supercar visual aspect, big scoops. And you guys all know how much I love a good scoop. And sure, the car is awesome, but so is the cause you'll be supporting with your entry, the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Make-A-Wish creates life-changing experiences for kids with critical illnesses, and it's something I care a lot about. So this is an amazing chance to support a great cause and potentially win a 2022 McLaren. Now, I don't know about you, but the first thing I would do if I won this McLaren is take it to Cars and Coffee this weekend, open up the billionaire doors, and let the world know that I've officially become a successful YouTuber. Sort of. After that, I'd probably take it on a road trip. No idea where to, but it honestly doesn't matter because I would be basking in the supple leather of that McLaren and letting the proactive damping control suspension soak up every bump in the highway, making it smooth as butter. So for your chance to win this 2022 McLaren GT, go to omaze.com/Elliott Alvis. You'll be supporting a great cause, and Omaze is willing to foot the bill on the taxes and the shipping on this car. How neat is that? Using my link shows Omaze that you support me, which in turn helps them support me. And who knows, you could potentially be supporting yourself in the driver's seat of a new McLaren. Thank you, Omaze, for sponsoring this video. What would you guys do if you won a brand new McLaren? Let me know in the comments below. But all right, back to these old school Grand Tourers. And I know earlier when I said my car was torn up, let me give you a refresher of exactly what I mean by that so that when we see this one, you'll see how correct it actually is. Starting off here, we have my beautiful door sill, which is just all chewed up. It's high-mileage Maserati. I mean, what do you expect? Really, the biggest crime on this car is what happened to the interior. So somebody took it upon themselves to not only install a custom radio, but for some reason, rip out the rest of the interior basically without unscrewing everything, breaking most of it and leaving a lot of it pretty much irreparable. Let me show you what I mean. First of all, the knob's kind of worn out, but this is $700. This radio was just kind of shoved in here. Look, you can tell it's just loose, and this is just some like faux leather from Hobby Lobby. This whole steering column cover thing is broken, and you can't do anything about it. Somebody pried this out with a screwdriver, broke that. For some reason, the headliner was removed a long time ago, and that was a real chore to get back in. And they also removed the rear deck lid thing. So it's just gone. Not to mention the lack of speakers in either door. This place is a real treat to be, but I will tell you what, it is a massive improvement from what it was. Oh, now in here is where you really want to be. Well, first of all, these seats are just different. They are GranSport specific, but they aren't very worn out. And as you can see, they've got this material in the middle of them and, well, really all over the car that Maserati calls techno cloth. Now mine is just all leather everywhere, the parts that I have, but you can see it's got its covers, it's got its stuff, but the big difference here is you can see no stick shift because the GranSport only came with the Cambia Corsa transmission. Now, a couple of other exclusive GranSport things in here, which you can see it actually has its correct radio, but surrounding the radio is real carbon fiber, and this tunnel down here with all the switches and controls is also real carbon fiber, and that is really fancy. The GranSport also got blue-faced gauges, and fun Maserati fact, at least on these cars, the speedometer is always resting at like 10 miles an hour. It's not broken. The little peg is there, so it never really drops down to zero. It was like that on my car too, and I think that's just bizarre. But the other key difference here is the mileage. This car has 100,000 fewer miles than my Maserati over there, which means it should drive a lot more tightly. But first, let's find out which one of these cars sounds better, because yes, that does matter. I think we could agree the GranSport sounds pretty good. It should. It's got a $3,000 2B exhaust system on it, but my car Trek Maserati sounds gnarly. Anyway, the more important thing is how does it drive? And I can tell you immediately, I kind of regret driving this one first. It is so tight and so good that this is what I imagine these cars were always supposed to drive like. The steering wheel feels good. It actually tracks straight. There's so many different things that this car does better than mine that I can tell already. It's just nuts. God, I love these transmissions so much. I could literally do an entire video on why I love the single clutch automated manual, but that's not what this video is, so I won't bore you with the details. The part I will show you is how good these transmissions can be under full throttle. So, under city driving is where these things get a lot of their complaints, but if you actually give it the beans and shift at red line, you hear that buck? That's good positive shift engagement. Woo! All right. That's getting pretty fast. And I can answer the other question for myself. Is this faster than mine? Do I feel the extra 5 horsepower? I gotta say no. I actually thought it would feel like quite a bit faster than mine, just in case mine's not running that well for some reason. It's still more confidence inspiring to drive fast though, because mine gets to wandering because all my bushings are bad. But this thing, oh, I love those shifts. And this is the other good part about this transmission, rev matching downshifts. Every time you pull the paddle. Oh, so good. One more full throttle pull. Oh, I chirped the tires on the shift. Oh, the shifting, oh. This is the supercar experience right here, folks. And the comfort of a Grand Tourer. I don't know why more people don't buy these cars. This is awesome. But is it actually better than my beater Maserati? Woo, boy, do I regret driving the GranSport first. Really highlights the loosey-goosiness of this. But this does have 100,000 more miles on it, so I mean, that's nothing to shake a stick at, especially for one of these. Look, yes, the interior isn't perfect. It doesn't exactly drive or track straight, and it feels kind of loose and squirrels around at speed. But you know what? This thing's got it where it counts. It's exciting, and it excites other people, which I think is even more important. Everything that's falling apart or loose around me doesn't matter the second I start that engine and hear that bark. This thing just stirs my soul, and like I said, it gets other people excited too. That Maserati that I was just driving, well, it's exciting and it's good and it's better in a lot of ways than this car, but I mean, it kind of just looks like a Prelude. This says Maserati really big on the side. It's got a wing, it's got stripes, it's got yellow headlights, it's got all this stuff going for it that really lets you know you're in something special. And you know what? The stuff falling out around me makes me feel like I'm in something special too. Let's get to the point here. Is the GranSport actually that much faster than this one? Woo! Oh my goodness, no. I'd say they are very on par, and I would love to get them side by side. Oh. The wheel rub, still don't like. And yes, I kind of have to be careful with the shifter because it's being held together with hopes and dreams, but it's okay. If it breaks, I can fix it. That other Maserati, not so much. Something has a problem with that whole F1 system. That is a nightmare and might need to go to the dealership. That's the beauty of this. This car, I can drive, I can enjoy, and not worry about dings and dents and anything devaluing it. Not only that, but it stirs everyone around me. And that's exactly what a special car is supposed to do. And that is why I believe this Maserati is the better of the two. So there you have it, guys. Two very similar cars, two very different presentations. The GranSport is better in almost every single way. It presents better, all of its interior pieces are there, and it drives better. But it's missing that factor that the Trek Maserati has. This one, you can drive anywhere and not really worry about it. And the level of joy and excitement that this car brings to kids and everybody else around it is unlike anything else. Driving this is special and fun, but you're just kind of regular traffic unless you're a total car nerd. This is where the excitement is, and this is how you spread automotive passion to others, is with a car like this. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Tyler, for the awesome opportunity. Be sure to follow me on Instagram. I try to post a little behind the scenes stuff there. Follow me on Facebook. Join my Facebook group. It's a great place to share memes, and I'm almost always in there interacting in the comments. And other than that, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe on this video. It greatly helps my YouTube performance, and I will see you guys on the next video. It's also worth mentioning they don't make cool little versions of boring Maseratis. Look. Do you like your car?
Yeah.
Which car does it look like of Daddy's?
That car.
Exactly. All right, have fun.
Bye-bye. Have fun at school, babe.
All right, have fun at school.
Yeah.
As you can see, I have 2 Maseratis in studio with me. I did a Richard Nixon thing here.